Tuesday for my weekly savory dish. And I know, look, it's already March, it's spring. So many people around the world are really looking forward to getting out there, starting off fresh. It's a new month, and in a couple of weeks, it's going to be St. Patrick's Day. So that's why today I'm going to be making a special dish from Ireland called Colcannon. Now, the main ingredient of the Colcannon is the very modest yet very versatile potato. I'm going to be using this is like a russet type of potato here from Naxos in Greece. But you want to use a nice flavorful potato because this is a very basic, it's a peasant dish. This is not a fancy dish. And in fact, as I start cooking, I'm going to tell it to you, there's so many other versions and permutations of this dish throughout the world, but when you think of potatoes, you think of Ireland. So I just want to show you, we're going to start off with, like I mentioned, there's just some very basic ingredients. In this one, to make it very festive, I am going to be putting parsley, but usually there's actually kale or cabbage in Colcannon. In fact, that's the history of the name. They believe cole is kind of like coal from cabbage. So they believe that's part of the history of the name. Once again, potatoes, and then we're going to be putting in just a little bit of plant milk. So I'm using an unsweetened soy milk. You want to make sure that something with a really mild flavor profile, definitely nothing sweetened. You don't want tons of flavor in it to overpower your potatoes. I'm also going to be using a little bit of onion today. I actually have a purple onion, but you can use any type of mild onion, a white onion, scallions, shallot, whatever have you. And then we're going to be using some vegan butter, salt, and pepper. And that's going to be it. It's not a fancy dish. This is a peasant type of food that is eaten all year round. But like I mentioned, because St. Patrick's Day is coming up, I just wanted to make this. So I'm going to bring you down here. But this has a couple of they're not unique ingredients, but there are a couple of unique ways to cook this dish. And like I mentioned, a lot of times this is made with cabbage or kale, but we're going to be making it, like I mentioned today, with parsley, and that's going to be cooked in a unique way. So I'm just heating up my pan here, and I'm going to be cooking up the butter, my vegan butter, with my onions and the milk. While my pan heats up, I just want to talk to you. And again, remember, every week I'll always put the link for the recipe after the video is complete. It'll be in the link below the video. So all I did was I boiled my potatoes in a little bit of salted water, drained them, and then mashed them. Now, a little bit of a pro tip, so please pay attention. This is a pro tip. You want to boil your potatoes still with the skin on. Why do you ask? It's actually going to keep the flavor in the potato a little bit more. So boil the potatoes with the skin on and then take the skin off afterwards. Remember, drain them, peel them, mash them, and then they're ready to go. Now, for those of you here at school, we all like our potatoes a little bit chunkier. We're all adults. We like them a little bit chunky or bigger chunks in size, but it's completely up to you. If you want a smooth mash, you can mash it more. So it's kind of like, I think of it like peanut butter. It's completely your choice. Some people like smooth, some people like chunky. No right or wrong. Pro tip. Oh, thanks, Jess, for watching. Yep, so that is a pro tip. Now here I have my vegan butter. Just gonna melt this down. So, and then just mixing these three things, this onion flavor into my milk. So we're just going to let that cook up. So you don't have to fry off the onion ahead of time. Now, one of the unique things, we are going to be using this entire head of beautiful parsley, but we're not going to be using it raw, but we want to keep this really beautiful bright green color. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cook this, and you want to leave your parsley in a bunch. So this still has the rubber band on it. So, you know, you can, if it's completely up to you, you can tie it off with some string or however you buy it. Just make sure that you do keep it bound up. And all I have here in another pan is some some water. So I'm just gonna boil this up, and then we're just gonna cook this parsley for about 3 minutes. Now there's a secret ingredient that's going in here, and that is a little bit of baking soda, or we call it bicarb, right? So I'm just gonna be bringing this up to a boil. And in the meantime, I want to talk to you about this dish. This is really, let's see, Mediterranean parsley. Yes, yum. So this dish, I will tell you once again, as it is a peasant dish, so we think, you know, very modest, very meager, but this dish literally has so much respect. Around, in Ireland, there's actually a song called Colcannon. That's right, nothing fancy. It's actually called Colcannon. But before I play it for you later on as I plate this dish, I want to tell you, around the world, there are actually other countries that have very similar dishes. So for example, and I love these names, these kill me. So if you've ever been to England, you might have had something called bubble and squeak. Don't you love that name? Bubble and squeak. So once again, the basic ingredients are potatoes, cabbage, onions, oftentimes salt and pepper, so and butter. Very, very basic. But this is an even better name. Listen to this. Rumpled thumps. That's right. Rumpled thumps. Anybody know where that's from? I'll give you 1 second to guess, or 2 seconds. Rumpled thumps. I'll give you a hint. It's from the same area of the world as the bubble and squeak, so it's near England. The rumpled thumps, that sounds like Rumpelstiltskin, but rumpled thumps is actually a dish from Scotland. There's also stump, if I'm saying it properly, stump or stemp, from Belgium. And then we have trinchat, I'm probably butchering that. That's from Catalonia in Spain. So all potato dishes, basically, you know, cabbage is so cheap. It's readily available. It's a real hearty staple that's really easily available around the world. I know it's very common in Romania. They put cabbage in everything. Potatoes are very, very easy and staples, and look, kids love them, old people love them, everybody loves it. So that's why we keep eating these over and over and over in different versions. So here, once again, we want to simmer this, your vegan milk, your plant milk with your margarine and your onions. You want to simmer this for about 5 minutes. Now I am going to pop in here just a little bit of pepper. You can use white pepper or black pepper, your call. Oh, don't have my water boiling yet. I want to bring that up to temperature. So you don't want to scald your milk, but you do want to get it hot. Yep. So now I'm going to play the song for you. And my gift to you, my St. Patrick's Day gift to everybody here is that I will not sing, because I can't sing. But it's kind of catchy.
Sure, great big bite to take of the creamy flavor, soft and melt and sweet potato cake. Oh, you did, so did he, and so did I. And the more I think about it, sure the nearer I'm to cry. Oh, well, then the happy days when troubles we feel not, and our mothers made Colcannon in the little skillet pot. But did you
Irish jig. Yeah, can't dance either, but I do like to dance. Not very good at it. All right. There are a lot of different versions of this Colcannon. All right, Mary Black, I'm gonna let you stop now for a second. So with the Colcannon, you get the gist there. You can check it out. You can YouTube it and put it on your iTunes playlist. But the Colcannon has so many different versions. Like I mentioned, this one is a little unique because it has onions in it. You can use scallions. It also has the parsley. So you can use sweet potatoes. You can use, this one is savory, but it is something it's similar to box tea, which are like potato pancakes, which is similar to hash browns from the United States. Once again, the lowly or very modest potato has been probably, I don't know, I want to say this has maybe been used in more dishes than any other vegetable throughout the world. So now I have my water in a nice rolling boil. I'm just going to submerge my parsley head down. Remember, there's only other thing I have here in this water is the bicarb. What did Jess say? Ooh, I don't like mashed potatoes, but she loves this. Oh yeah, so I think, yeah, so the mashed potatoes, some people I know don't like the texture because it's too wet, too runny, almost baby food like. But the way we've left these potatoes, they're a little bit chunkier, chunky monkey. Yeah, to each his own. So you can make this ahead of time, or you can make this, yeah, so ahead as mentioned, or you can make it straight away. The other thing too is I do have a little bit of extra vegan butter on the side because traditionally this is served, it's mixed, this milk, onion, and butter mixture is added to the potatoes, and then there's a little well that's made in the top, and then we put a little bit of extra butter because any dish is great, but it's made even more incredible with a little bit of extra butter. That's your pro tip for the day. All right, so you just want to boil this for about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm actually going to pull this out a little bit. And in the interest of time, you don't burn yourself, but you would want to actually take this out, pull it into some cold water. But it's very easy to work with once you've done this blanching. And so, like I mentioned, it's actually easier if you have a bowl of cold water, or you can just run it under cold water. But right now, what's nice is, so look, each one of the stems now is intact, and then all we're trying to do is I just want the leaves of the parsley. So all I'm going to do is just gently grab those. And you can do it very easily with your hands. You do want a nice large bunch of parsley. As Jess mentioned, the Mediterranean parsley that we get is fantastic. Now, I do want to call your attention. In certain parts of the world, this is called flat leaf parsley. Other places call it Italian parsley. Some people call it Mediterranean parsley. But this has more flavor than that curly leaf parsley. So this is A, more flavorful, and B, easier to work with. So I always encourage you to get this. I can't stand that curly parsley. In fact, also curly parsley is actually more difficult to clean. So all the way around, unless like those weird scalloped edges, I'm a big fan of this flat leaf parsley. So you just want to keep grabbing this. You can use these stems for something else. You can make stock out of it, your choice. But you see how this beautiful color has remained. It didn't turn into that gross, like, olive drab color. It's still very bright and festive for St. Patrick's Day, yes. Which I believe is March 17th, so we have 2 weeks. So you can easily hop down to the store, get some potatoes. Now, you want to make sure that you do get some potatoes, like I mentioned, that have a nice flavor to them, because it's really the highlight of the dish. You don't want mild, flavorless potatoes, okay? And as I mentioned, the basic ingredients are going to be, well, everything's in the recipe. I'll post this right after the video is over. And this is something, you can use leftover potatoes. You absolutely can do that, but I'm making this fresh, of course, for this recipe. But you can make this even into, then you could, afterwards, if you have leftover Colcannon, you can make this into even little croquettes. You could fry them, you could bake them, you could put them into another casserole. So it's very versatile to use as a component in other dishes. You can get creative, so the sky's the limit. that's once again the versatile lowly potato. I keep using the word lowly, I shouldn't say that, but I know that potatoes are a complete food. I know we were doing some research in years gone by, people who have been on very limited means and haven't had a lot of access to a lot of different food can subsist for a very long time on potatoes. So I know some people are afraid of them. They're worried about them being carbs, but they do have a good amount of fiber in them. They're a very complete food. So don't be afraid of potatoes. Yeah, so I'm not gonna do this whole bunch. You can do as much or as little as you like, but in the interest of time, I won't do the whole thing. You can do as much or as little as you like. Well, now you're gonna come back and you just wanna really well, so I'm gonna squeeze some of this juice off. I don't want it to be too wet. If you've ever actually bought fresh herbs, sometimes I've seen them in stores, frozen. They're fresh and then they're frozen. This is how they do it. This is what they do. They'll flash boil it, and then they put it into like little cubes. All right, so now we're ready to assemble. Ta-da! All right, so remember we have our potatoes. I'm gonna pop in, this is my onion, milk, and butter mixture. Mix that up really well. And then now in goes my parsley. And then we'll just be plating this up. This is a great accompaniment. This is very easy for a weekday dinner. It's nice for a little brunch. And then remember, in the middle, traditionally, so we put a well, and then in would go a little knob of the butter. And then we are done. So literally, you'll definitely want to season this to salt and pepper for your taste. But there you have it. This is Irish Colcannon. Well, that's actually probably redundant because Colcannon is Irish. Let's put Mary back on. So happy St. Patrick's Day. So if there are any leftovers, yes, this is Jessica's dinner. Yes. So Irish Colcannon. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. As soon as I finish this, I'll put the link for the recipe down below. And don't forget to watch next week. Always on Tuesdays at, yeah, my little jig. Always on Tuesdays at 1 Eastern European time. I don't know if I'll be doing a jig next week, but I promise you it'll be another dish, something savory and fun. All right. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, put it down in the comments below. And also, remember, if you haven't done it already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then tomorrow, Jessica will be here with something sweet as she continues on with her weekly series as well. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.